Hello, so I'm just going to show you how to add notes to your audit and your action plan. So to add notes to your audit, you just click into the audit that you've been working in. The notes is only applicable to each of the 5 principles. So you need to click it, it'll either say completed or get started or in progress, but you click this grey box and then underneath each statement here, you've got the option to add a note on the paper icon. If the paper icon is white, it means there's no notes added. If the paper icon is bluey green colour, then it means your notes are in there and they're saved. When you're looking to add notes, all I'm looking for is some perspective and a little bit of context to each of the statements. If there's no notes attached to it, all I know is whether there's no evidence, some evidence, or strong evidence towards each statement. So it's really important that I can get an insight into what's going on in practice. So, for example, if the head teacher is 100% committed to implementing the whole school approach to mental health and you've put yourself as strong evidence, just explain for me how that is. What does that look like in practice? It doesn't need to be lots and lots of writing, just a couple of sentences or some bullet points is more than enough, because we can discuss it further when we start to review and we have our meeting to look at signing you off. So please do make sure that you've got notes throughout all of your statements across all 5 principles, particularly for some evidence or strong evidence. If you've marked yourself as no evidence for something, I wouldn't be as fussy if there wasn't a note attached to it. But in particular, if you've got some or strong evidence, there needs to be notes attached to each statement across all 5 principles. When thinking about your action plan and how to add notes to your action plan, you can't add notes to your action plan until you've allocated your action tasks. So if you haven't added any action tasks, you need to do that through the add task button, whether that's through the create task or whether that's through recommended tasks. If you're struggling with that, just reach out to me because I'll explain the difference between the 2 of those, or you can use your EduPod guidebook as well to help you. But otherwise, adding notes, what you need to do is click into each of your tasks that you've allocated yourself. And when you scroll down, you've got the option at the bottom here to add notes. Your notes are particularly helpful if you are being reflective of your action steps or your objectives. Again, it's just about putting some context to your action tasks, telling me what's going on, what's happening, what it looks like in practice. It's also really important that you reference your task status, because you don't need to fall into the trap of thinking that in order to be signed off, all of your action tasks must be marked as complete. That's not the case, because we're not ticking boxes. We're looking at long-term sustainability and succession planning. So some of these action tasks that you choose are likely to be more of a long-term sustainable approach as opposed to a tick box activity. And so if they are to-do tasks or in progress, it doesn't matter, but just reference it in your task status and reference it down here in your notes as well. So if it's a to-do task, tell me what the plan is. If it's an in-progress task, outline what you've done so far and what your next steps are. And if it's a completed task, just outline how that was completed, how it went, and what outcomes and impact you've monitored from it as well. And that's it. Once again, make sure you click the add note button at the bottom and you click save. And then when you go back, all of your notes will save into each of these individual tasks as you've gone through. Any questions, give us a shout, drop us an email, and I'll speak to you soon.